In this video, I'm going to be answering questions that you asked me in the comments of this video, which has reached way more people than I ever could have anticipated. I want to start by just saying thank you so much for all the support I've received over the past couple of weeks. All the comments and messages have been just amazing. It's been overwhelmingly positive, and I really, really do appreciate it. I also want to note that there are some questions I won't be answering here because they cover topics that I'm already planning to make entire other videos about. Like I said, it's been really cool to see how many people have resonated with my story, and I'm excited to continue sharing the details of what exactly has worked for me so far on my journey. Alright, let's get into it. Was 700 really your first rating, or did you get any practice between learning the rules and getting your rating? So yes, when I first started playing rapid games on chess.com, my rating did settle in the 700 range, but it wasn't like I had learned the rules of chess and then the next day I started playing a game online. I played a lot of bots mostly before I ever played a game against a real person, because to me it was really nerve-wracking even if the person was just, a username on the screen. Some higher rated players kind of discourage people from playing bots, but I actually found when I was first learning like how the pieces moved, playing bots was actually super helpful because you have the advantage of being able to use all the cheats that they offer. And so, if you make a mistake, it can tell you right away and you can go back and correct that and learn how to play an entire game and win an entire game without, having to figure out what your blunder was at the very end of the game, where you might not even remember your thought process at that point as to why you made that move. What plan did you use to manage chess and studies? I'm assuming this means like school studies or university studies. And so, yeah, when I was still in my undergraduate degree, I did not have a lot of time for chess, right? I was taking a full load, at times I was taking an overload of classes and working a part-time job or an internship. And so chess was definitely a side hobby for me. Obviously, school has to come first. It's a lot more real life than chess is. I think if you have limited time to do anything that you're really passionate about, you'd really have to make the most of that time. So for chess, that means, if you've got, say, an hour to spend on chess, you're not necessarily going to use that hour to watch, a couple of entertaining chess videos. If you're going to watch videos, maybe find something that you can take notes on and actually like learn something that you can use and apply in your games. Or, play some longer games and actually analyze them rather than playing blitz games. Of course, chess is a game at the end of the day, it's a hobby, and so if you're not having fun doing it, you're not going to actually want to continue to improve. So you definitely have to find that balance of, the fun and the work. And if you're really enjoying it, then the work will be fun. Should I take coaching for chess or should I look for something else? So I'm definitely not qualified to prescribe whether or not a certain person at a certain rating level needs a coach or anything like that. There were definitely times along my journey where I questioned whether I should be getting a coach. Up until this point, I have not. I found a lot of online resources and books and, people at my club that have sort of given me free coaching along the way in different ways. I think it definitely depends on an individual personality type. When I became really obsessed with chess, I was also super self-motivated to create a study plan, and I knew that because I really liked doing chess, I was actually going to stick to that study plan and really like force myself to do the work. I know there are a lot of people that really benefit from having a coach to sort of guide them in the right direction as far as what they should be studying. And, they say if they didn't have that coach sort of watching over them, they would just be playing blitz all day. And if they really want to improve, they need somebody to guide their practice. I know coaches can also be really helpful for sort of pointing out mistakes in your play that you might not be able to verbalize or even notice otherwise. And I'm sure at a certain point, if I want to, get a little more professional with my chess, I'm probably going to have to find a coach to do that for me. So it definitely comes down to the individual, and I would say that if you are considering getting a chess coach, make sure you're not just doing it because it's something that, you think you should do at a certain level, that you actually have like a specific goal that you want to get out of a coaching session or, a series of coaching sessions, and you are doing it for a very specific reason to, improve your play so that you can look back and make sure that that's actually happening. So I got just a few questions about books. And just full disclaimer, I feel like I am just about the least qualified person to answer any of these questions. I didn't start using chess books at all. I didn't pick one up until I started going to club. when my online rating was about 1300. And even since then, books have honestly played a pretty minimal role in my chess study. I think that's just a huge testament to the huge number of online resources that exist for free out there that you can grab and use. And there never was some like magic pill book that I read that suddenly, made me shoot up in rating. That just was never the case for me. That being said, I will share the books that appeared in that video, the ones that have worked for me and that, I've used in various capacities, basically the ones I have on my shelf right now. So I'm a substitute coach for beginner students, and I also run a kids chess club. And for my beginner students, I like to use Everyone's First Chess Workbook. I've also recently started using Coach J's Chess Academy, which is really good for beginners, but also some of the later books I've even been going through and I've been learning a lot. Like, they're very challenging puzzles even at my level. So I'd highly recommend that series. Coach J is amazing. At a more intermediate level, I really liked the 100 Endgames You Must Know and Best Lessons of a Chess Coach. I'm working through a book right now called Test Your Positional Play, and that's been really good because I think at a certain level, you kind of just need to look at middle game positions because you realize that you just don't have a plan in the early middle game and you don't even know how to go about creating one. And that one has been really good for that. I also highly recommend Jennifer Shahade's Chess Queens. As somebody who is relatively new to the chess scene, the chess world, it was really eye-opening to see the history and the modern challenges that women and girls face in the chess world, as well as read about some amazing successes. So yeah, highly recommend that one too. I had a few questions asking about this site that lists a bunch of chess terms. So this is chessfox.com. They have a lot of good resources. I really like the 10-day challenge too. I'll put a link in the description. How did you get comfortable playing with a physical board? I have the same problem with visualizing and finding tactics. Just keep playing, OTB works. Yes, so in my experience, the best way to get better at playing over the board is to play over the board. So a couple of things I found helpful to practice that just during my study time. First of all, going back again to the bots, I would set up a bot on my computer next to me to play, and then I would have the physical board and I would make all the moves over the board so I could just practice visualizing that way. I've also found that when I use books, it's really nice to sit down with a nice cup of tea and, sit down with my board and play out the positions actually on the physical board. I also think tactile memory is really important for memorizing things like openings. And so when I am studying my opening lines, a lot of times I will use my board to actually physically play through each line 3 times just to make sure I really get it into my head. So those are just a few ideas to try if you want to supplement, going to a club or playing a friend or, playing at tournaments. Where can I purchase the same chessboard and pieces? So I got that chess set as a gift. It's from House of Staunton. I really like the weighted wooden pieces. It all just feels very classy. And that travel board is a mousepad board, also I believe from House of Staunton, also a gift. I had a few people ask if I stream. The short answer is no. The long answer is I have a full-time job. I'm also taking a graduate level class, and I'm super involved in my local chess community and trying to improve my own chess. So frankly, I'm going to be lucky if I get this one video out a week. That might change in the future, but at this point, no, I'm not streaming. Finally, I had a few questions about my goals, like what's next. At this point, my main goal is to improve my over-the-board rating and potentially long-term go for some kind of a title. Because I kind of live in the middle of nowhere, there aren't a lot of longer classical rated tournaments near where I live. I end up playing a lot of the same people all the time at rated tournaments, and I'd have to travel pretty far to find a FIDE rated tournament. So I'm working to improve the things that I can control. So for me, that means consistency when I'm playing in over-the-board tournaments. I also have a lot of problems getting into time trouble, so I've been focusing on improving that. While I think it's important to have a measurable goal in mind, I think it's equally important to focus kind of on the journey and on the process of improving the things that you can control. So that's how I'm planning to continue to work towards my over-the-board goals. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any more questions. We might do another one of these in the future. Again, thank you so much for all the support, and I'll see you soon.